Hi friends, your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about um, the 7 levels of TTRPGs, right? And this is based off of 2 fantastic videos. You'll find both links for both of those in the description below. The 7 levels of rappers and the 7 levels of fantasy. I highly recommend watching those. And when I watched those, I was like, I have to do this for tabletop role-playing games. I appreciate you going on this journey with me because we're about to finish level 7. All right, okay. So level 7, GOAT, greatest of all times. All right. So what is the tabletop role-playing game that is the GOAT of all tabletop role-playing games? Well, it is Runehammer Games Heartsuit. What? Yeah, you're like, wait a second, Scott, why did you say that? So first of all, I know this is a controversial pick, right? Most of you haven't even heard of Heartsuit, and I'm certain that very few of you have ever played it, right? It is absolutely brilliant, and it is the greatest tabletop role-playing game ever written. All right. Now, first of all, let's discuss the term GOAT, greatest of all time. So first of all, I love GOAT discussions. Everybody loves GOAT discussions. The GOAT discussion is it's an evergreen field, right? Like, and people love to have these discussions. So the place where they really like to have it is GOAT in sports, and then rap music. Who's the GOAT, right? A lot of people say Tupac. And it is a great question, right? But the reality is, one of the things is like, one, if you ask me who the GOAT is in sports, I used to give my answer, and I think you'll actually find my answer right here on this channel. But I actually don't think I'm qualified to say who the GOAT is in sports, right? Because I just don't know sports well enough. I'm really ignorant of a lot of sports, right? I've learned quite a bit about football over the last couple years. I enjoy basketball, but the level of knowledge I have on these subjects is minuscule compared to what many people have on these subjects. Many people have spent their entire lives, memorizing statistics and, going to hundreds of games, if not 1,000 games. I just don't have that level of knowledge, but I do when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. I know more about tabletop role-playing games than any subject I've ever studied, period. None. Like, the reason why is I'm passionate about it. Now, I do know quite a bit about quite a few other topics. I'm incredibly blessed. I was blessed with a high IQ and kind of a deep memory bank, and I have a lot of knowledge, right? But on this subject, honestly, I don't think anybody knows more about tabletop role-playing games than me. I really don't. And one of the reasons why is it's not because I'm the smartest person in the world, but it is because of how I look at tabletop role-playing games. I think a lot of people have these blockers that don't let them really look at tabletop role-playing games at the macro level, right? But the reason why I say that Runehammer Games Heartsuit is the greatest tabletop role-playing game of all times is because what it did is it was written by a gentleman by the name of Brandish Gilhelm, who I've met in person. I've talked to him multiple times. He's a great guy. Lives in my city, Philadelphia. He moved here a few years ago. I bought one of his paintings. One of his paintings sits on my wall at home, and he is a personal hero, right? But he's a stunning visual artist, and he is a powerful wordsmith and one of the best rules mechanics on the planet, right? And he wrote a game called Index Card RPG. And Index Card RPG is an elegant, literally beautiful, concise redux of Dungeons and Dragons. He read Dungeons and Dragons, he understood Dungeons and Dragons, and then he made it accessible, right? And then he refined that, right? Heartsuit is Index Card RPG on the subject of mecha, right? Now, I love the subject of mecha. Two of my favorite things in the world are Voltron and Gundams. And mecha is a deep subject. They're actually an allegory for different things. And I absolutely love mecha, right? And mecha tabletop role-playing games, there's a few of them. There's Mecha Hack, there's Lancer, and there's Salvage Union. There's a few others. Oh, and by the way, Heavy Gear. Oh my gosh, yeah, Heavy Gear is tremendous, right? But the reality is, the mecha RPG, which is one of my most favorite RPG subjects on the planet. I'm an absolutely massive fan of Heavy Gear. I loved reading through Lancer, and I loved reading through Salvage Union. And I really enjoyed Mecha Hack. I played quite a bit of it, right? But Heartsuit comes at the mecha genre, but twists it, right? And it does a couple things. So one, mecha are all these, like jagged metal war machines, right? But Heartsuit rounds everything out, right? And makes them kind of bulbous and almost like a bear or an elephant, and so just the way that mecha are visualized within Heartsuit is absolutely brilliant. And then in addition to that, like especially Salvage Union and Lancer, they spend hundreds of pages making the mecha genre super complicated, right? And there's this idea that you need the mecha genre to be super complicated because these are complicated machines, right? But the way Brandish Gilhelm made an incredibly fast, functional mecha game that is unique and innovative, but is also at the same time elegant and simple and beautifully crafted so that the action happens quickly, and you build your Heartsuit in these chunks, right? And you can just snap pieces on and off like a toy. It's just so beautifully crafted. It is like nothing I've ever seen. And the other thing is, well, Scott, how could that possibly be better than Dungeons and Dragons? Well, it can only be better than Dungeons and Dragons because think about the Heartsuit book, right? It's Brandish Gilhelm standing on Gary Gygax's shoulders, right? It's better than Dungeons and Dragons because Brandish Gilhelm understood Dungeons and Dragons and fixed the things that were broken, right? And then brought all of that to mecha, which is probably the best genre on the planet. I love it. It's so good. And so the GOAT, the greatest of all time tabletop role-playing games, is Heartsuit. Now the good news is so you can go get Heartsuit right now through Runehammer Games. I highly recommend you get the hardback physical edition, but you'll be well served with any edition. And there's very good news. Soon you'll be able to get Heartsuit Primal, which is a framework for the Daggerheart campaign, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And that is happening because this thing is the GOAT, right? Like Brandish Gilhelm can redo any of his books and make campaign frames from anything he's written over the last 15 years, right? Because it's all stellar, right? Bearcats would have been a great redux, right? Or a great campaign frame for Daggerheart. But Heartsuit is spectacular, right? And so I'm so thrilled with it. Really is. It's the GOAT. It is the absolute GOAT, the greatest of all times. And that's it. That's my full list. So I've given you one tabletop role-playing example from level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, and level 7. And every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. And when I get to hear your list. What is your list? Would you have replaced any of mine with a different game? I'd love to hear it. I'd love to see your list. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. Thank you for letting me share it with you. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.